How do you raise your GPA? This is a question that I get asked all the time, and I will say that raising your GPA comes down to proper study habits to begin with. So I would definitely buy a binder and get a binder for each class, whether it's history or math or science. You definitely want one binder per class. And then within each binder, you want to organize it by class, lecture, and reading notes as one tab, homework as a second tab, your final exams as a third tab. For your fourth tab, you should have a neat set of notes or cheat sheet, which is basically a compilation of your notes in a very condensed form, which you can memorize. And then the fifth tab is miscellaneous. So this is how I would organize each binder for each class. The second technique I would take is I would apply the Feynman technique when it comes to learning. So what the Feynman technique entails is basically explaining the concept or the subject matter as if you were to explain it to a 5-year-old child. So whether it's quantum mechanics or computer science and algorithms or multivariable calculus, you should be able to explain any concept as if you were explaining it to a 5-year-old child. And that should be the ultimate litmus test when it comes to testing or gauging your understanding of the subject matter. The Feynman technique is an incredibly powerful technique that will solidify the concepts in your mind and truly test if you could understand the subject or not. The third technique I would take is definitely you want to start off with easier courses if you find that these upper level or AP courses are too difficult for you. Because at the end of the day, you have to think of knowledge as a semantic tree. And if you don't have the fundamentals or you don't have the foundation, the gaps will increase significantly as you take higher level courses. So make sure you get the fundamentals down, whether that means taking easier courses or even catching up on your fundamentals and the foundation over the summertime. The summertime is an excellent time where you could catch up on the missing gaps in your knowledge, especially when it comes to math or reading or even computer science, because those are the three bases around how learning and foundation of knowledge is built. The next step I would take is you definitely have to study hard, right? You've got to get your reps in, you've got to put in the hours, and you have to be consistent. Consistency is key. It's almost like if you're working out, right? If you want to build muscle or you want to build a better physique, you've got to get your reps in. If you take a look at some guys in the gym, they try to lift 200 pounds, but they might skip working out for a whole week. Instead of trying to lift 200 pounds or cramming all of your studying in before the exam, be consistent. Set aside a certain number of hours, maybe it's 1 or 2 hours every day, and these habits will eventually develop over time. This is called habit stacking. One author named James Clear wrote a book called Atomic Habits about this concept called habit stacking, where you start off gradually, but you aim to be consistent, and eventually these habits build up over time. So consistency is definitely the key. You've got to put in the hours, you've got to study hard, but studying hard doesn't mean cramming it all in at once, right? It really means being as consistent as possible and putting in the reps and hours in every day to study the subject material. And lastly, the final tip I give you when it comes to raising your GPA, taking college courses. Some schools have dual enrollment policies with other colleges, and taking these college courses may factor in that GPA into your high school transcript if they have a dual enrollment policy. But even if they don't, taking college courses is a great way to make up for a poor grade that you may have gotten in high school, as long as you could send in that transcript to the colleges, and you can also self-report that college grade in the additional information section of your Common App. There's also a specific section for that in your Common App as well. So these are the different ways that I would take when it comes to raising your GPA, which really means developing great study habits, applying the Feynman technique on how to learn, taking college courses, catching up on the fundamentals through easier courses or over the summer. There's a lot of techniques that you can take. If you like what we talked about today, do hit the subscribe button and give us a like. We'll be sharing free tips and advice on the college admissions process.